Hey, folks, I'm doing a little microphone check. You know how that goes. Kenda's going to show you how it's done. She's a pro.
Thanks, buddy. 14 years. Finally, I get the okay from
shit.
Keith.
14.
Who is that voice? What? Wait.
Kevin, what's the best thing going today?
Not Game of Thrones.
Have you followed that?
I did.
Okay,
I
we'll
did.
talk about it for a second. And then we're going to hear this back, and we'll see if your answers match what you
I
said
didn't
earlier.
watch Game of Thrones.
Hey, folks, I'm doing a little microphone check. You know how that goes. I was busy just crying every day. Folks, I'm doing a little microphone check. You know how that goes. Kenda's going to show you how it's done. She's a pro.
Thanks, buddy. 14 years. Finally, I get the okay from Keith.
14.
Who is
Kevin, what's the best thing going today?
Not Game of Thrones.
Have you followed that? Yep, you stuck with it. Stuck to your guns.
still funny?
All right, so we're going to play a 2-minute song, and then we will begin, and that'll be that. All right, thank you. Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Here's a message from Phil in San Fran. I'm a new listener, and I had to write in to say, where have you been all my life? I can't believe it's taken me over a decade to get to your podcast. You both are the wackiest, most lovable, funny AF people I've ever heard. I vowed to listen to all of your episodes and spread the word like wildfire. I just got 2 shirts from your store so I can wear your name on heavy rotation and want to tell all Keith and the Girl fans that if they see the shirt, talk to me. I would love to meet other KATGers. Keep up the great work. Please don't ever stop. Phil. Isn't that sweet?
That is sweet.
Fabulous.
We are the wackiest.
Phil, be sure to join us this Friday. We're going to have a chat party. KeithAndTheGirl.com/chat, 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right? It's always a lot of fun. Our next show after today's will be on Tuesday, so we can all celebrate Memorial Weekend. And in the meantime, if you do need something to listen to, check out My Opening Line, our other podcast where we talk to comedians and actors about their first times performing, what a mess it was, and why they kept going.
And it's free. It's everywhere podcasts are.
Gilbert Gottfried, Overwatch's Lucy Pohl, Bonnie McFarlane, Laurie Kilmartin, and today's guest, as a matter of fact. This show came out with the guest I'm about to introduce to you, and my friend Craig, great friend of many years, calls me up to tell me how great it was.
Aw.
And I bring that up because your friends never tell you, right? They know
It's true.
that you know they like you.
Yeah.
So they're the ones who don't bother to tell you.
Right, yeah.
So he must have loved this to bother to tell me.
It was one of, I think it might have been the most popular episode in the
Oh,
series.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He rates, well, you can't tell who it is by the voice, but a rating and performing member of the state on MTV, of course. The podcast is Risk. The book is Risk, True Stories People Never Thought They'd Dare to Share. Kyle Ocasio, my girlfriend who's been on the show this week, of course, this is our nighttime ritual.
Oh, really?
We read stories to each other.
And
now,
reenact it.
well, some of them you better not, right? I mean, some of these stories you're up for 5 more hours, but it's an excellent book. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Allison.
Hello.
Ugh, what a delight it is always to see you.
Oh, it's always so fun to be here.
And what a way Israelis compliment you. Ugh, great to see you. Ugh, you look fantastic.
You get it, Keith.
What have you've lost weight? Your face is glowing.
I did.
Are you pregnant?
You know, Jesus Lord.
Reverse?
Reverse pregnant. Yeah, no, on March 12th, I had a session with my therapist, and
I love that there's a date to this.
we were once again just going through something we've gone through for years now, which was me talking
How many
about,
calories cum is?
I was just like, oh my God, I'm trying to moderate the drinking, but it's such a... And, you know, he said, listen, Kevin, you have a lot of vices and you have a lot of things that you want to do that are super healthy. And it's all about keeping a balance of those things. You know, the vices, it's okay to have indulgences. But the one thing that seems to throw the scales off of you indulging too much and then losing track of all the healthy stuff is alcohol. That's if you took that one thing off the scales, I'll bet you'd have an easier time with everything else.
But does that suck to hear?
Oh, so here's what I did.
I fired him. No. Apparently, you got to give 2 weeks' notice, so I still go.
I decided to drink that night. I was like, okay. My therapist...
Let's see if he's right.
My therapist finally kind of said, you know, because your therapist, they're usually, or at least mine is, I'm not going to tell you what to do,
Right.
but... And in this case, he was kind of really finally saying, I'm kind of telling you what to do here, you know?
I gave you enough hints for 10 years.
Yes, exactly. So I went home that night, and you know, for Risk, we have this Patreon, and I sometimes record these they're kind of like live journal entries. It's just me talking into a microphone about how I'm feeling that day. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna record one tonight. I'm gonna get some really expensive tequila, pour it on, you know, a big block of ice, and just drink it. And record how I'm feeling about all this. And so for about 30 minutes, it's me. You can hear the ice tinkling in the glass. And it's just me going, oh, I fucking hate this, that I have to give this up, you know? It was this allowing all the frustration of, yeah, but I love it so much, the feeling of this, that, and the other. And I hate it when people say you're going to feel better. And, you know, all just the griping and grousing and letting that all out. And then the next day I woke
saw
up.
the videotape of myself, and I'm insane, so I quit drinking.
Well, it was an audio. The next day I woke up very hungover. Of course, it was a Wednesday. And I thought, okay, I am not going to publish that recording right away until I've had some time to hear it. But I'm not even going to listen to it right away. I'm going to wait a couple months to listen to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I did was that next day I was like, that felt really good. I felt like I was really honest with all that grousing and griping. And now I'm really, really ready to start eating fucking healthy and just leave the drinking behind. I left drinking behind for 9 years once when was I? In my 30s, I quit drinking for a while, for 9 years. And so I knew that in that case, because I tried AA 3 times in the beginning of that period of trying to quit drinking, and it just wasn't a fit for me, which is really frustrating to me because
Because it's good to make celebrity contacts.
yes, right, exactly. No, there is a shit ton of fucking like support that people get from, and
that sucks. That the thing that's helping everybody else.
exactly. Like I have very, very close friends whose lives have been transformed by AA, and I was just like, man, this just isn't a fit for me somehow. And some people in AA appreciate that. Like I've had friends who have been like, oh yeah, it just isn't quite a fit for some people, but that doesn't mean you have to drink. And then other people are like, oh no. If you feel like you shouldn't be drinking and you're not doing AA, then you are a lost soul, my friend. You're in purgatory. You know, you've got to be in AA. So people are of different minds about that. So I would talk to my therapist about that a lot, and he was like, well, you could go about it one of two ways with AA. You could either do it, but do it very much on your own terms and find a sponsor who is very much okay with you doing it on your own terms. Like, for example, I still smoke pot, I mean, pot is not nearly... I don't have that kind of relationship. Like, I can smoke some pot and put it down, and it wouldn't even occur to me to have any more. Maybe not that night, maybe for another 2 weeks, So it doesn't have that pull for me.
Right. Somebody doesn't call you on the phone and you debate about, scraping yourself off the floor to smoke more weed.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I think I'm done.
I don't spend the day thinking, okay, when can I smoke more pot? Right. Which was the way that alcohol played a role in my life. So anyway, the next day... So what happened in my 30s was, at 35, one day I decided, what if I just gave up drinking on my own terms without going to AA and just tested that out? And for God's sake, it worked for 9 years. And what it was there was just some little shift in my thinking where I just started thinking, that's just not an option for me. That's just not a healthy option for me. I just don't want to do that because it's not going to be the ultimate, it's not going to be optimally making me feel happy. So it's just off the table, not an option. And for some reason that worked for 9 years. Now, what I should probably do is tell the story on Risk sometime of why that, what broke, why that 9-year period ended. And I thought I could go back to it, because it took me, I don't know, another decade to learn, that really isn't for you. So here I am again.
I think that makes so much sense. It's like how, people with stuff like bipolar or manic depression or, psychological issues who take their meds, they feel good. They're like, they forget. And when I say they, I mean me also.
Right.
So then I forget that has affected me so much because I'm so far from it.
Yeah, you feel like, I'm in a different decade now.
I'm an adult now.
Right.
Like 35, I was a child.
Is that what it was, or was it out of anger? Like, was it like?
Was it fun?
Was it fun?
No. It was at a kink camp event.
Okay.
So I went to a kink camp event that was not a camp.
Oh, you thought you were drinking urine and it was tequila.
Oh,
and
no.
Like, fuck it. What broke your sobriety? I thought it was urine.
Someone's martini went right through their system and into me. No, it was actually not at a camp. It was at a hotel. And so for this event, the place that everyone met each other to go do anything else at the event on any of the other floors was the bar in the lobby of the hotel.
That always makes it tough. Everyone's like, want to grab a drink. Let's meet up for drinks. Let's have a meeting over drinks. Let's celebrate with drinks.
I think that at events like that big sex events, there should be more meetings, or just, support for people who are not doing that. You know what I mean?
Because you don't want to look like a prude. Like, no, you can pat on my balls later, but I just don't want vodka now.
Exactly.
Don't cross me off your list. The shit I'm willing to do is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, officially, you shouldn't be doing a lot of that stuff if you've had a few drinks in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's dangerous.
So
I fucking consent. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I once was at a kink camp and had a little LSD that morning. And then I had this meeting to go to be whipped, to be, like this guy had a big bullwhip and was going to whip me. And I was like, realized that the LSD was kicking in. And I was like, there is no fucking way. I am in the frame of mind right now to be tied up and whipped. So I admitted it to the guy, and the guy was this old pro. This guy was like in his 70s or something, like been whipping guys forever. And he was
Can you imagine? That's your dad's age.
yeah. And
He couldn't even throw the encyclopedia at you when you were bad, like
Right.
20 years ago.
he was like, I can't believe you just told me that. He was like, I'm going to have to think about whether I'm going to report you
What?
to the people running the camp, because he was like a real hard line,
But what's the line you told him?
I told him, but the fact that I had LSD there on that, campgrounds was
Okay.
officially, yeah, I mean, come
And
on.
he's in his 70s. You were around when acid was legal.
Well,
Stop it.
I spent the whole fucking day freaking out and then ran into him later just walking down a path and he was like, "Oh, by the way,
I was just
I was
fucking with
not
you."
going to tell anybody." Yeah, I was like, "Oh, thanks. Fantastic."
Oh my God. So he like emotionally whipped you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
I
Oh
put a
my
spliff out
God.
on Xerxes' hand.
You what?
She's getting so she's dating now, and she's into a lot of pain. It seems she comes here with a new
Oh.
black and blue mark every day. This came out of nowhere to me too.
Wait, who is Xerxes?
Her new boyfriend that she doesn't know if she says the word boyfriend or not.
Oh, wow. Xerxes, that's such a hot name.
And then her face gets all red like now, like we just read her diary or something, and she
my
didn't just say that.
God, I lost a friendship over well, I didn't lose. I regained it, but I almost lost a friendship over a boy named Xerxes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in love with someone, and then I started dating a boy named Xerxes, and then Xerxes ended up more interested in the guy I was actually in love with.
You want me to hit my Xerxes for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Please
Cool.
put a cigarette out on. Okay, so talk a little bit about that pain that he's into. What kind of
So,
pain?
actually, I was just like, we were just smoking. We weren't fooling around or anything. And I went to like do it to him as a joke. And he's like, go ahead. And I'm like, don't fucking test me because I'm going to do it. And so we're just escalating it. He's like, I don't care. Do it. I'm like, I'm going to fucking do it.
Are you guys already having sex or something?
It was outside. So we weren't like having sex at the time. We were
Okay.
just hanging out, but we had already.
Right.
Yeah.
Coitus is in the air.
Coitus in the air.
So he puts his hand out. I'm like, it's coming. It's gonna happen. And I just jam it right into his
Oh my God.
hand. Yeah.
And how did he react?
Fucking didn't move, this maniac.
Wow. You know what?
He didn't even flinch.
You should look into electro kink. You know, all of those, oh my
Wait,
God.
for the record, that was not part of the kink. It was just us being Looney Tunes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay. But he might really dig that. I will say, as far as electro goes, you have to learn your shit. you
Yeah,
know?
well, I said, now I want to feel what it's like, so you do it to me, but not right now because I have to be ready. I'm like, I don't know, that seems like it hurts a lot. He's like, I didn't flinch, but it hurts a lot, and I don't think I should do it to you because I don't think you understand how hard it's going to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, anything that can scar or leave a permanent mark, I think most people are going to want to really negotiate that first.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think that's part of our kink. I think I just wanted to do that.
Have you smacked him in the face during sex?
Yes.
Listen to this, Kevin.
Oh my God.
Come on,
you
that's amateur shit for Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's not for you. Now we're talking, you're debating, like, where do I get the electroshock plugs? Like, you didn't just go, okay, calm down. It was just weed being silly. No, it wasn't on the not pervert scale, right? You were doing something kinky.
I think I would have done that even without the kink.
But you didn't in your whole life.
No, but I have
Now,
threatened to do that as a joke before we were fooling around because we're just
Now,
silly.
let me tell you other silly things, right? She does ass to mouth on the reg.
No, I do not.
Okay, maybe not, but that's how we were going to find out. Now we know. But her
I said no ass play.
her and Xerxes took some kind of soap substance, puts it in their hands, lights it. They're into lights it on
Lights
fire.
it?
Lights it on fire, and then it goes away quickly.
It's not painful.
Okay.
But there's something going on that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
something is
That
happening.
wasn't for kink. That was actually fun. Like,
When it comes to
Well,
relationships,
there
when
is fire play too.
yeah, of course there is.
yeah, I don't think I'm gonna bring fire into my bedroom. It's not on my mind right now.
See, that's the thing. I have enjoyed having fire play and electro stuff done to me, but I don't trust myself to be the doer of it to other people. I think I would end up electrocuting someone or setting the house on fire.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not as comfortable choking him as he is me.
Oh, that's yeah. You have to get a little educated about choking too, because obviously that's
We're talking about it and like trying it. Like, does this hurt? Does that hurt? How far is this? Can you still breathe? Sort of thing.
yeah. I did a workshop
This
in
is
it.
normal, Keith. Listen to Kevin. I'm glad you're here.
Are you able to breathe? That kind of thing.
I took a
Well, you can hold your breath for like a minute.
Yeah, I don't. But that also does squick me out. The breath play stuff. I did a workshop in it. I attended a workshop in it with a friend so we could be each other's demo bottoms and try all the choking and breath play on each other. And what I'll never forget is the teacher taught us how to choke you out, like make you faint.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like cut
That
off
would make me
cut off the
nervous.
blood supply, to your brain for a moment, so that we used to do that. Did you used to do that as kids?
No, but I heard about it.
You're a few years older.
Did you grow up in like a quiet town? Because I grew up in New York, so we just took
Oh
the
right,
train
yeah.
somewhere.
I grew up in Ohio.
Yeah, there you
the
go.
best, most fun you could have was choking each other out.
Yeah, we had the West Village, so
Think all the courses that are going on that we don't know about, right?
I know.
Breathe
Oh,
play, where you don't breathe.
yeah.
Do you pay
Learning how to not breathe.
Do you think you have regular fucking down? Like, are you the king of that?
Well,
And then you're like, I
no,
gotta find other shit.
This is what people are so shocked about and don't understand about me is that I don't do regular fucking. Like in my 20s, I would sometimes fuck someone else. I'm talking about penis going into anus,
Right.
literally, or sometimes be fucked by someone else, but was just never all that into it. And
what, those positions or
those positions that like.
you want more of the foreplay, what we call foreplay? As,
Yeah, well, rimming has from when I was a kid been an obsession of mine. Putting my face in an ass has always been an obsession of mine. It's like the first and foremost thing I'm interested
By the
in.
way, when you go to people's houses, do you ask to scrub their toilets? Like, is that fun to you?
What?
I don't
No.
know. Okay, just checking.
No, that's another thing people don't understand. I'm not into anything that feels humiliating
Okay.
on a like status level all that much, unless it's like. Unless it feels
Yeah,
like
but when you type-
unless it feels like worship, you know what I mean? I like worshiping someone, but I don't like the whole idea of scrub my toilets or
Right.
something like that, like be my servant or something.
I
so
see, but
I'm
you
very-
like I'll get you the coffee and breakfast and
yeah, like you are my prince.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I don't, showing worship to someone is very fun to me, but not like, oh, you're stupid, you're lowly, go do this, go do that. You know what I mean?
I like that,
Yeah. Oh,
but I like both.
yeah. Well, sometimes it's just negotiating what words you can use with a person. You know what I mean? Like, oh, don't say stupid or don't call me a faggot or you know what I mean? Like word it this way or that way. Yeah.
By the way, speaking of words, this week we were talking with Hemda, hey, is Xerxes your new boyfriend? And she didn't want to use that word. And I was making fun of how, to me, she's one of these people that are so evolved. I'm like, I use a boring word. I'm like, but you are, aren't you? And did you realize why you don't like that word?
It's not that I don't like that word. I understand that I'm in a relationship that is very boyfriendy, that like is a regular. I would not be able to do any of this stuff if we weren't very close already. We've been friends for 10 years. I can't just jump into that. I don't think I ever hit someone in the face before.
Well, no, hold on. Do you mind me if I? You're still in a primary partnership, right?
With him? Oh, no.
Oh, so you're in a different entire. Oh,
In fact, it's been a year today.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I
Thank
didn't
you.
know
Me
that.
too. Yeah.
No. I didn't know that status, so I assumed you meant that this was like an open, exploring
Oh,
a
no.
secondary sort of partnership. Oh, okay, great.
No.
great.
So I've been divorced for, well, he left. Well, I kicked him out a year ago.
Yeah.
So this is new. It's like maybe 3 weeks old. Before that, I was celibate for all that time.
Oh wow!
I
Oh,
know.
interesting.
Yeah.
Like, so this is interesting. Like because I have a lot of relationships in my life that I have not called boyfriends. They've been intimate. There's been play. There's been, I don't know, a lot of personal stuff between us.
Why does the word scare you, or why did it?
Well, it's not that the word scared me. I guess it's just that I wanted to let things be kind of open and see where it might go. Like my husband, Ariel, who I met when I was 31, is the only like long term. We actually got legally married. You know, it was like, I mean, we were in an open relationship, but it was very, we are each other's primary partners. And we really rushed into that, you know, like we were putting labels on things immediately. And so I think ever since then, I've been a little bit like, nah, just see where things go. Now, I may, as I enter my 50s next year, I may finally be coming into a place where I'm like, I'd be interested in a more serious or more defined partnership again.
Well, for me, it's PTSD.
Yeah.
For me, it's last time I felt anywhere near this place, I was completely wrong. I was heavily hurt, and like even as I talk about it now, I'm like ready to cry. So it's like, why would I? Even though everything is like a boyfriend, and it's, you know, I'm now disinterested in anybody else.
Yeah.
I still, as soon as I say boyfriend, I'm afraid I won't be able to speak on the show like I want to. I won't be able to breathe. I will. It'll suddenly matter what I say too much, and it'll suddenly like be this thing that I don't want it to be in. And also, while I'm in a space where I could just easily cry while I talk about my last relationship, do you really want to be my boyfriend? Maybe not, you know,
Right,
like,
right.
and even, and maybe you do because you understand that that's just part of the regular life pain, and it's not that big deal. It doesn't affect our friendship or love status or whatever any different, which it doesn't. But if it's making me feel that way, then maybe I shouldn't do that.
I think what's key is to be able to have conversations.
I tell him straight up, I'm like, you know what? You have never lied to me. I've never seen anything different, you know, that's fucked up from you. But sometimes when I text, this is so stupid and it feels dumb. Sometimes when I text you and we're in the middle of a text and you stop texting for a little while, I'm like, well, we were just texting. I don't know who you are anymore. I don't know. Who are you anyway? Like, what do I really know about you? Like, everyone else liked my ex too. This is fucked up. And then I'm just
Out
like,
of nowhere,
holy
she goes,
shit.
"Get the fuck off Craigslist. Talk to me."
Yeah, so I get all worried, and I tell him that. I'm just like, I know it. And he's like, I will show you all the pieces of my life. You can meet all of my friends. I will tell you where I was and what. I'm like, it's not, you can, if you were lying to me or if you're telling me the truth, you would have the same answer for me. So you can't fix this. You can't
Yeah.
fix it because it's not even coming from you.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. And he's like, yeah, I understand it. I have patience for this because I know where it's coming from. And it's not like I would want to, it doesn't matter because all the same things are happening.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Right. So don't worry about labels for the time being and just let things grow, you know?
But so people like Keith think it's you know, this oh, you're just new age and you're just, you know, you're just in denial. And I don't think I'm in denial. I think I'm very clear about this looks, sounds, feels like a boyfriend.
Right.
But there's a piece of me that's still broken that I
Right.
can't fix enough to have this happen.
Right.
So what am I gonna do? Just push it?
Well, that makes more sense. I just knew there was a missing puzzle piece.
Right.
Now we have it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, you know, it's just going to take a little more time. And as long as like you're honest and, you know, let it take as much time as it takes.
Yeah, I don't, you know, who gives a shit?
Right. I totally understand some of the frustration, though, with. I attended a concert of a bunch of queer artists the other night. And
That's gay.
this gal got up and she was playing the guitar and she stopped and said, you know, it's so great to be non-binary and, you know, queer and yada, yada. But I've recently realized, you know, she was probably like 22, 23 years old, something like that. She's like, I recently realized that the reason I've always hated quote unquote lesbians is because that's what I was so afraid to be when I was a kid. And she's like, now I'm starting to grow into being okay with who I am. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with the word lesbian? Because it's obvious that that's what she actually is. You know what I mean? I think that there's a lot of playing around with different words, and and sometimes it feels like, wait, wasn't gay, straight, or bi, kind of enough to cover it, And I totally understand. Like, I know a lot of people who go by non-binary or queer or various other kinds of terms, but sometimes I feel like she was literally talking about, wait a minute, by having such a problem with the word lesbian, when you could see that if she had come of age in the 70s or 80s or 90s, she would have called herself that. She said, part of me felt like I was disrespecting my elders by not wanting to have anything to do with that word.
Yeah, but sometimes I don't want to call myself something, because if I step out of that, then I have to question fucking everything.
Right.
So I'd rather say I'm pansexual. So when I have a fantasy about a woman, it's like, am I gay now? Am I bi? It's like, you know what? I have been attracted to and thinking about various different bodies, various different places. It just, so I don't want to do that, because if I label myself straight, because my relationships have mostly been straight,
Right.
then as soon as I step out into some gay shit, it's all the questions. It's, well, now are you gay? Now will you ever be with a dude again? Does trans count? Like, I don't fucking know. Just, do I have to do this?
Right.
But then
right.
you do have to, because words mean something, and if it's obvious, it's like you said, it's like, well, you're obviously a lesbian, then I guess I have to explain myself, just like we all do.
But I totally agree.
Keith, is this meaning anything to you?
Well, I'm learning what pansexual means. In the past, I wouldn't let him in my kitchen. But now this makes more sense. Yeah, of course it makes sense.
Yeah, I know that it looks like a boyfriend, and I know, and I'm not going to correct you if you say that, but just know that in my heart, I'm scared. So if I don't say that, then I'm lying. So you can call me whatever you want, and you can call me queer, and you can call me straight, and I really don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a straight relationship now, so call me straight.
Mm-hmm.
But other people will call me queer, and that's the problem with that's why people don't want to be put in boxes, because you're separating them from their other options.
Someone asked me recently if I had been with a woman, or if I told a story on Risk about an experience that I had with a trans guy, a sexual experience I had with a trans guy, and I ate him out. He still had what he called a front hole, and it was really fun and really new and really kind of blew my mind.
What do you say for dirty talk though? Like, I love your front hole.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't engage in front.
Okay.
Like
I would say cock. I would say I blew you. I would use terminology that's very straight.
I love your inverted cock.
He
No,
was
you don't say
teaching
stuff
me.
like
He
that.
was teaching me the whole time. I was like, "You're in control.
Yeah.
Like, you teach me how to do whatever." And he really did. He was like, "Lick this way, now lick that way, and everything." So anyway, it was really fun. And someone asked me recently, in an interview, have you been with a woman, or have you been with another trans guy since then? And it got me thinking, wow, really one of the reasons that I haven't done more of that exploration is because I came up in the 70s and 80s. And
You already identified yourself.
Exactly.
Stay in your lane.
As a kid, I identified, I mean, to myself, not out loud to other people, but I thought, I am a gay guy,
Well, that's what I think a lot of cis men are going through. It's the straight men are going through, because we, as women, were given permission to experiment and not be called
Right.
lesbians and like, well, now are you just with... We have been given permission to have fun with that. And, I mean, that comes with problems also, but... Men, I think, would see what it's like to suck a dick if they weren't called gay. If it wasn't like, now that's your identity, of course you're gay. Like, what other gay shit are you gonna do? How long have you been thinking about dick? And it's like, you know what? There was a dick in front of me one night. I wanted to see what it was like.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Right.
But that's probably even hard to imagine, Keith.
My mouth is watering, but no. By the way, Hemda has a speed dating coming up. It's scheduled, and she's
Wait, what? Really?
Canceled.
Oh.
look at that.
Andrea was right. I would like to say officially, Andrea again was right. I started thinking about it.
Yeah, if she would go to the speed dating thing or not, or will Xerxes drop her off? Will she run out to smoke a joint in between each spell? Who knows?
Oh my gosh. Has anyone ever done that?
No, and I've always think about it, and I'm always not in a place where I can because I'm like in a monogamous relationship or I forget about it or whatever. And I already paid for it. There's no refunds. I did it like a couple months ago because I was like, when my celibacy is done, I'm going to be actively participating in this thing called dating, which I'm so not into, but
I'm going to say yes to every man.
I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to try it. And then now I'm just like, well, what am I really doing there? And I thought, well, I could make friends that develop into things. And I'm like, So I started paying attention. Maybe this is a weird experiment, but it's a little nicer out. So, guys are starting to look a little bit more. That's just the way it is. Spring, summertime.
Sure.
Like, there's a little more open eye contact and potential flirting and whatever.
It's definitely smile honey weather.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's pretty sunny.
So I find myself on the subway and I'm like, let me pay attention if anyone's paying attention to me. Because I'm usually oblivious. I'm just doing my own thing and I don't want to know if anyone's paying attention because it becomes maybe too much. So I'm like, oh, I think that guy's smiling at me. I keep looking back. I'm like, he is. And it's like he almost is nodding or whatever. And I'm like, wow, he's cute. I think that I wouldn't be opposed to him, saying hi or whatever. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I don't want it to happen. So I'm like, okay, so that's one. And then like another one or two happen. And I'm like, oh shit, I am highly disinterested in even people that I would find attractive or interesting or whatever. So that tells me something. So what am I going to do sitting there at a speed dating thing where I'm going to look at 10 people who are potentially something and waste their time and
you're still figuring out you and Xerxes and you knew
Yeah,
him for
exactly.
over 10 years.
Actually, yeah, that too. And it's like, well, it took a lot, after 9 years of only one person touching you and like being intimate with you and, even like snuggling and stuff like that. And I needed a high level of love in order to like get in that space with this person. Yeah, I don't want to put the work in with somebody else. I don't really want to.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in going out on dates and seeing if there's chemistry. I'm not interested in chemistry, not that kind. But I am interested in making friends. But I think that'd be wrong to keep that date in order to make friends when other people are there for other reasons.
Are you guys feeling this phenomena that everyone's talking about how
Having children.
Jesus
God's
Christ,
Oh my
no.
God, please no. Please no. No.
Who knows? You've both been building things up, right? Sperm, eggs, they're ready.
Oh God.
All the sperm and eggs in here.
I will stab myself in the belly just hoping that I get it.
Oh, I'm so happy not to have kids. But no, the whole, there's a lot of talk about it being harder to make good friends nowadays, especially for people who are beyond their 20s, that it's becoming harder and that people are getting lonelier, because I do feel that myself. I feel like I need to start making a very concerted effort because I have such an ADHD thing. I have to remember, no, you have to schedule time with friends, especially with friends that you've known for a while, like force it to happen, because you need that quality time with people who can call you on your bullshit and people who, you just have, you can share whatever, just,
Yes, but our job is so social, it always feels like we are having friends.
Exactly.
But then when it comes to like, okay, I need a friend
Yeah.
and not a colleague / friend or whatever, or maybe I didn't create a very personal intimacy with that person. Like you and I are intimate right now, blah, blah, blah. I bet if I called you crying or whatever, we'd be there for each other, but we don't make those plans, right?
Right.
But in the last, I do keep in touch with friends really well. And in the last year, I have been making efforts to make friends and I have made new friends. And it does
Good.
take scheduling. And,
Yeah.
And so I like that. So
Yeah.
I think that's what I want. I think I want to date friends.
Oh,
but
yeah.
not sexually.
Right, but
I-
yeah. Like, what's this camping trip? You're going camping?
Yes.
I need to start going camping.
Let's talk about it after because it's very easy to do
Oh, awesome.
Now you're going camping
with Xerxes.
with Xerxes. That was the question.
No cigarettes or any other
Right?
things
That
That
to
was
come-
not a kink. It was just fun.
Yeah, just a campfire for fun. I don't like this either, Kevin.
You want to see my latest black and blue?
No. No, I don't. Have you guys said that you love each other yet?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, we have loved each other. I've known him for 10 years.
I don't need this bullshit. Did you say I love you?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
All right. Don't be taking it back.
I'm not taking it
I
back.
have love for you. How did that start?
It wasn't okay, so we were texting and we were texting about intimate, like, real stuff, and we always do, and also silliness and everything. And he's like, I wish there was another word that didn't show romantic love, but I do love you. And I'm like, yeah, I already know. I know that you love me all the time. That's an action.
That's how Harry Met Sally ended, if you recall. I have love for you. Yeah, I know, duh.
But to me, like he never had to say I love you because everything that he does is saying it. Like, and that's all I want. And so, and I said, of course I love you too. And then in person, I said it, and then he said it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because Keith wants to know who says it first all the time. So
Of
that's the
course.
succession of
I
things.
do have a casual relationship with someone who I will sometimes say I love you, and he freaks out about it. He's like, but not that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, we're good friends. We're intimate with each other.
Yeah.
Why the
In
fuck
the
can't
way
we say
that
I love you.
You are an important person in my life. You're not on a pedestal. You're in my heart.
Yeah.
What's not obvious about that?
So in text, you brought up I love you.
No, in text, he brought up I love you.
He brought it up. You said no shit.
Yeah.
And then in person.
And I said I love you, of course.
And then in person, you went, hey, let me do this the right way. And you said I love you the way people think.
Well, we were having another emotional time.
Okay.
And I said it because I thought it was very appropriate. Like, just so you know, whatever we're talking about here, I love you.
So you're probably talking about your ex, it sounds like.
No, this time we were talking about his stuff.
His ex. And then.
Not his ex, but just
His
it
life.
was more, yeah.
Okay. And like the latest BoJack Horseman. And then.
You get it.
And then you go, well, I love you. And he said, I love you. And then you burned each other.
Now I feel like I gotta watch BoJack Horseman.
What's everybody talking about? Right? All right. Well, good for you. How did that? Were you nervous after saying that, or was it?
No, that's the thing. I already knew. It wasn't weird for him to say. He didn't
That's
have to even
fabulous.
give me the preface of it. Like, of course you love me. How could you not? Keith, you love me also. I don't know how to fucking break it to you.
Xerxes would just like to know it's different.
But you haven't said I love you since we were dating. That doesn't mean like you don't love me. I know you love me.
And I want everybody listening to understand that. I'm not gonna be telling you. You know. Come on.
That's the way you feel about the listeners too.
Right. You know it.
Come on,
What I do
guys.
tell you. I'm gonna, think you're stupid. You know it. I tell it to my family all the time.
I mean,
You
I wasn't
know it.
being dismissive about it. I was saying like,
Sure.
yes, I feel that. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you constantly, not thank you
Oh,
for this.
I thought you said thank you, cunt. That's a whole different kind of label.
Not the way she uses it. It's hard to explain. By the way, a lot of controversies this week that we talked about. Of course, the abortion ban first in Georgia. That's going to be a law soon, unless enough protesting goes on. Alabama, and then soon Missouri, Mississippi, Ohio. And I saw that in Alabama, the Alabama Public Television said it won't run a recent PBS special of, what's that show? Arthur. It's a show that's been on for about 22 seasons. It's a cartoon for kids, but there's a gay wedding in it. A rat is going to marry an aardvark. Now, right there, to me, I'm like, good for them, but where are they going to live? But let's say they find a consenting zoo. What's really bothering Alabama is that they're both male.
Right.
The aardvark and the rat.
Is an aardvark an anteater? Is that the same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I
you know
think-
what? With terms, who am I to say, right? I'm not even getting boyfriend right.
Are they concerned with how they're gonna have sex and like what is the concern here?
That they're male.
that they're
I
male.
know,
period.
but like, what's the next step in that? You're concerned that they're male, and what? They're gonna touch penises weird? Like, what part of these animals is bothering you?
Don't you try to be tricking me and act like we thinking. We're not thinking.
So dumb.
Mr. Rogers has been on this show, giving a voice. Alex Trebek, John Lewis, who marched in Selma with Martin Luther King. So it's a pretty
Progressive.
and not dirty show.
Wait,
also,
how long has Arthur been around?
22 years, 22 seasons anyway. Yeah,
Gosh, okay.
yeah. I mean, which I guess it's good because how am I supposed to explain to my raped 10-year-old who's forced to give birth that male cartoons are getting married?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how to talk to them about that.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could get raped and have to keep the baby, but don't you touch penises.
right.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Other disgusting, controversial stuff. The ending of Game of Thrones. Have you been a fan?
Oh yeah, I was a big fan, and you know, I don't know how to feel about it because
Everyone sounds so defeated when you ask them this now.
Yeah.
They're like, I did like it.
Right.
yeah, it's hard to like become a fan of something and to really be rooting for it. And it was such like it felt like the whole world was watching, and you know, you kind of had like back in the 70s there were like TV events like Roots and stuff like that where everyone was watching this miniseries. So it kind of felt like that again, and it was very exciting.
Right, especially nowadays with binge watching and DVR, you don't get everybody together.
Yeah, right.
That's
And
true.
this felt like, you know, you had to be there on Sunday night with everyone else watching
Yeah,
the
like
show.
people canceled their live shows because they're like, what are we asking people to come out?
But the thing of it was, look, so I was kind of mad at George R.R. Martin for not finishing the last books
Right.
before the show was over.
I heard an interview with him, and he said, "In my next book, I have an interesting take on unicorns." And I'm listening, going, "We're done. What do I care about unicorns?"
So what happened was the two showrunners, they had to like kind of start writing it in the last 2 seasons. And they felt very, very constrained because it's such a huge budget show. But I also heard that HBO said for the final season, whatever you want money-wise, you can do 10 episodes that are 2 hours long. And they were like, nah, we only need 6
Right.
that are an hour and a half long.
Because we're spending the rest of the money on an island.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, yeah, it just became very rushed. And I felt like they just kind of like gave up on a lot of the characters.
I saw some videos of cast members, especially Tyrion, the actors in real life, and they're describing like people asking how are people going to like the rest of the season, and the way they you see in their face, they're like, no, everybody's going to be bummed out. Now there's people put up this silly petition. I don't think anybody really thinks this is going to go anywhere, but again, it's just people getting together and it's fun with over 1 million, you know, email signatures or whatever. People have said, you know, we want a whole new season of Game of Thrones, and now these actors feel they have to defend it. As if it's Sansa being like, you guys don't appreciate what blah, blah, blah. Just
What a stupid way to go about things. What I would
Yes.
say is another job. Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. Well,
More
you know,
work.
Another thing is, like, when I saw the first of the new Star Wars movies, like the one that where George Lucas came back, so it was the fourth, you know, after the first 3. So it was the one with Jar Jar Binks.
sure.
So I was there on opening weekend at the Ziegfeld, the huge theater
Yeah.
in New York. You know, people are dressed in their costumes. Everyone's so excited. Jar Jar, people fucking hated him, which made me love him. Every time he made a joke or said something stupid, I was like, ah! And everyone was looking at me like, who are you, you fucking idiot? So now that's how I feel about Bran, because everyone hates Bran, and I'm like, no, I adore that everyone hates you. I love you. There is something like, I'm that way at comedy shows too. Like if someone is just flat out fucking bad, I'm like, oh my God, I kind of love this.
But in a bad way, because Keith does that. He's like, oh, are you failing in front of me? Oh.
No, for me, I don't know what it is. It's like it's rebellious. It's kind of wanting to say fuck you to everyone else for
Right.
for kind of, I don't know. It doesn't make total sense to me. But
The petition, I think the petition's funny. It doesn't bother me. Your show's going to go down as one of the greatest shows in history
Oh, sure.
of all time. It doesn't matter these last couple dopey things. But Sophie Turner, who plays Sansa, calm down. You're the one making this news, if anything, you know? So now you have this petition, 1 million people. Now there's a petition asking people to stop making stupid petitions. That's up to 2,000 so far. So the whole thing's fun. Yeah.
Petitioning everyone to stop petitioning.
Isn't it a reminder to stop taking anything seriously?
Right.
For sure, you know.
Like if you can, I mean, before you get angry, think about if you can laugh at it.
Right. All these petitions, she said, and things like that, and things like that. It's disrespectful to the crew and the writers and the filmmakers who have worked tirelessly over 10 years.
Just memorize your lines.
Yeah, by the way, you guys didn't work tirelessly. Apparently, I see the show. You've been having plenty of water and coffee.
Yeah.
You're doing just fine.
You guys are having plenty of water and coffee.
I see water bottles. I see Starbucks on the set. Don't worry. Things are going on there. You know what would be funny if this weekend there's just surprise, a new Game of Thrones episode.
That'd be amazing.
We're not telling you when it's done.
Like the way that Black Mirror sometimes
Yeah.
does that.
Oh,
yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Right. I'm reading that Moby put out a new book. Okay. It's his second book. His first one was called Porcelain. And in this new book, it's called like what's it called, Andrea? It's called like I Keep Failing or something like that. Well, anyway, he says, he's at How I Messed Things Up. It's something like that. And he said, what's that? Then It Fell Apart, it's called.
You were so close.
I was very close, right? Yeah. So Moby says that he dated
It was called Fuck My Life.
He dated Natalie Portman. He says he dated Natalie Portman for a short amount of time. The musician, now 53, claims that the pair dated when he was 33 and Portman was 20 after she met him backstage in Austin, Texas. He recounts going to parties in New York with her and then to see her at Harvard University, quote, kissing under the centuries-old oak trees. At midnight, she brought me to the dorm room, and we laid down next to each other and on her small bed. After she fell asleep, I carefully extracted myself from her arms and took a taxi back to my hotel. So he left her. Interesting. He says that he then struggled with anxiety about the relationship.
You know, when you're 33 and you're falling asleep in someone's dorm, you know.
Carefully extract yourself.
Yeah.
At best, right? Yeah, maybe you shouldn't stay the night and go to the chow hall.
I mean, I get it. It's consensual. Everyone's of age. It's fine. Like, I'm not, and,
Sure.
and also she seems like a very mature person. He's an art star freak show, and it makes sense on a lot of levels, but also understand this is a weird story when you start with, so I'm 33 and I go back to her place, the dorm, and there's a sock on the fucking door.
Right. So we have to wait in the hall for a bit. So we make out by the soda machine.
Right. It's just, maybe you start feeling a little different about yourself.
He felt anxiety. It wanted one thing, for me to be alone. Nothing triggered my panic attacks more than getting close to a woman I cared about. For a few weeks, I had tried to be Natalie's boyfriend, but it hadn't worked out. Writing that she called to tell him she had met someone else. Natalie Portman is saying, we never dated.
Yeah, now why is he including that story in the book in the first place? It feels kind of like he's
Name dropping?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like bragging.
Name dropping a child?
Right.
Don't drop the baby.
I was surprised to hear that he characterized the very short time that I knew him as dating, because my recollection is of a much older man being creepy with me when he had just graduated high school. He said I was 20. I definitely wasn't. I was a teenager. I had just turned 18. There was no fact-checking from him or his publisher. It almost feels deliberate.
Here we are now going to the east side. What's up, Moby? Where you at?
There is a story about dating Moby or attempting to date Moby by Christina Wong on Risk. I don't remember which episode, but I love the title of the story. It's called The Whiteness of the Whale.
Okay.
Reference to Moby Dick. But yeah, she went through something pretty creepy and iffy with him too.
That he used this story to sell books, very disturbing. Yeah. He says Moby had told her, quote, let's be friends, and that they had, quote, hung out a handful of times, she says. Moby has responded to her comments, posting a picture of them together on Instagram and saying her account, quote, confused me as we did, in fact, date. And after briefly dating in 1999, we remained friends for years. I like Natalie, and I respect her intelligence and activism. But to be honest, I can't figure out why she would actively misrepresent the truth about our, albeit brief, involvement. He said the book account was accurate with tons of corroborating photo evidence. What's the evidence? You're inside her body? He did, along with this statement, he has a picture of him without a shirt, her in a shirt. They're obviously in public, and his arms around her. And if you ask me, her face is like, do we have to? I don't know what you think you're proving there, but I don't like that little trick.
Wait, in public?
Yeah. It's like, look, we're together in public, so this must be. And you can find other proof in my new book. It all fucked up.
No, but Andrea and I have been together in public. I even posted a picture. She was dressed like more dude-like, and I'm like, my new boyfriend, Andrea. Can you imagine her writing a book like, and then when Hamda and I dated briefly, like, okay, I guess you have evidence of that. You did stay over my house.
You're standing next to me in this frame.
Yeah.
I completely respect Natalie's possible regret in dating me, right? To be fair, I would probably regret dating me too.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah, right there. Fuck
Very
you.
good.
But it doesn't alter the actual facts of our brief romantic history. Then It Fell Apart is his second memoir.
The story fell apart.
Yeah. In the story, he also talks about touching his naked penis against Donald Trump at a bed at a party. Well, will Trump say it happened?
Wait, what?
That's it. That's the end of that sentence.
What?
Do you think more people will come out and be like, I never dated him either? Like, he's the Bill Cosby of dating hot chicks?
I wouldn't doubt it.
You know? I remember, I don't think I ever told you this. In 2003, I was waiting tables and Elizabeth Banks walked into the restaurant. We were dating for a good 40, 50 minutes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, then I gave her the bill and let her go out of my life.
Did anyone get a picture?
It's a very exciting time. Come on, man.
Oh, man.
Why are you weird? But we did date.
Right.
Let it go.
That is funny.
But I guess you have to say this story did happen, or then I question everything about the book, and in that case, I won't buy it.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to defend some stupid little thing like this.
I mean, but between the two of them, who could we possibly believe? You know what I mean? It has to be Natalie.
Right. Yeah.
So is it the job of a book publisher to be like, hey, we should fact check that since you're mentioning someone who is a real person?
I
You know what I mean?
So, yeah. Yeah, you can't just say shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten fact checked on dumber shit. I was
Right.
in Glamour magazine. They fact checked something. I'm
Yeah.
like, so you put out a book mentioning a celebrity. Yeah, you probably
That's
have to.
true. Yeah, in an interview, where was something like Mademoiselle or something like hoity-toity one?
Right.
Gabby Dunn interviewed me, and then they called me up and they're like, "Is it true that you wouldn't have a baby even if that's something very?" And I'm like, "Fuck, did I say that?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I don't." But it was so specific. It was like, "We're going to say this about you," and I was like, "Oh, now you make it seem so big. Now I almost have to rethink what I said." But I was like, "Yeah, fuck it."
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we've gotten really strict on Risk about having people change the names of anyone. You know, like we always have, but we've gotten stricter about it because it always slips. People forget, but we're like, no, you got to change the names of other characters. And if a person is a little bit iffy about how their story might affect anyone else in the world, we're always just like, go by a fake name yourself and don't let us use your picture or your Twitter handle or whatever. Just tell the story anonymously.
Right.
Yeah.
Should he have said, I was actually dating somebody in Harvard named Jane Smith. I changed the name and just made up Natalie Portman, putting it together. Maybe she was just in my head because I met her once.
Yeah, Natalie Portman was a poor choice of a fictional name for me to create.
Oh, right. There is a Natalie Portman out there.
Right.
Shit.
Some names have been changed and facts, and a lot of this might not be true. Enjoy.
But you know what's the best about this? It will not change his sales except to go up.
All right.
Who's going, yeah, I'm disinterested now in the book. You know,
Right.
It's just like, well, now I want to see what other bullshit you write. I mean, not me, but.
Does she have the legal right to now write anything she wants to about him? Like he cut off the tip of his dick and ate it one night.
Yeah, she wakes up and goes, oh, we did have sex. He likes lighting his balls on fire.
Right. Real weirdo. That's when I had to say, please excuse yourself gently from my Harvard.
Her repressed memories. Yeah, she could write a whole series.
Right. But people do that. I remember we had this one guest coming in here, and it turns out we went to the same open mic years ago, Surf Reality, and he's like, right, yeah, we slept with each other. And I was like, no, we did not. And he's like, yeah, we did. And he's like, we were probably drunk. I'm like, I was never drunk. So I'm sober and you didn't fuck me. And he's like, no, I did. I went to your house and I'm like, describe my place. And he goes, there was a window. And I was
That's amazing.
okay, well,
that is
I
amazing.
remember. And I didn't even sleep with that many people. And I remember the Surf Reality people I slept with, you know, and I didn't wasn't in a huge habit of like going home.
Wait,
with
so you
people.
think you did sleep with
No,
him?
I
now?
didn't
Oh.
sleep with him. He remembers a window. New York apartments are not that fucking bad.
Did you have a window?
I did have a window. I had several though.
Okay, this is very suspicious.
I report, you decide.
Yeah.
Kevin, you can follow online on Twitter
I should have been like, oh yeah, how big's my dick?
because you can call vaginas dicks.
Would it fit in the window?
Twitter and Instagram, the Kevin Allison. Instagram for the podcast at Risk Show. And the website, risk-show.com. It's an excellent show.
And everyone in the room has been on it. Andrea,
Yeah.
Keith, me, and it was so much fun. You have an amazing audience.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're absolutely on my girlfriend's bucket list to perform. She loves your work so
fabulous.
much. I'll give you some information. Of course, Memorial Day weekend, that's coming up. So in the meantime, if you're missing Keith and the Girl, go to keithandthegirl.com/VIP. It's all right there. In fact, we're going to be talking more about Hemda and her last relationship and how she's getting through that and blah, blah, blah dating.
Well, it's been a year since I asked him to leave, and I've been processing a lot of stuff, and I've been wanting to say my timeline of how this happened. And I was telling Keith, I was like, I think I said everything, and then I started telling him the timeline. He starts writing shit down. He's like, no, we have a whole show here. So
Look at this. Look
Wow.
at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all right there.
yeah.
So that's on.
Including putting his face on Craigslist while we were married, saying, come to this hotel room and sit on my face.
I don't even think that's the most shocking thing, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, once you heard more.
Also, so that'll be on My Name is Keith in your VIP package. Also, every week in your VIP package is Last Week on Keith and the Girl with Bianca. That's behind the scenes of what happened that week. For example, this week we'll talk about what happened with Chelsea White when we talked about the abortion ban, Kenise Mobley and Hemda using the word boyfriend, Kyle Ocasio and Christian Finnegan about taking next steps with my dad and the fake emails that are going on. And, of course, Kevin. All right. Here's the description for the latest last week's show. Bianca wrote this. This episode of Last Week on Keith and the Girl is totally drug-free. Bianca has no nicotine in her system. Is she freaking out? You'll have to listen to the episode to find out that the answer is yes. Please enjoy some nicotine on her behalf.
And our birthday's coming up. And guys, thank you everyone who is a VIP member. It's our premium program, and it absolutely keeps the show going. So everyone enjoying that free content, the free Keith and the Girl, the free My Opening Line, it is a lot to do with VIP. So thank you guys. You are our VIPs.